As people start traveling once again, some are still chasing refunds from canceled vacations that happened during the pandemic, especially if you had plans to travel overseas. A Manhattan Beach teacher thought that she would never see her money again, and then she got in touch with the NBC4 I-Team, and consumer investigator Randy Mack had her back.
It was such a letdown that we weren't able to travel.
Teresa Nielsen says the cancellation of a family trip to Japan in April of 2020 represented a lot more than just a lost vacation.
My 7-year-old son had made a little friend in one of his summer camps that lived in Tokyo, and so we were going to go visit this little boy over there. I was in touch with his mother. I also have a cousin who lives in Tokyo.
She booked a vacation home through Vrbo. When the pandemic hit, she requested a refund. She says Vrbo told her it was up to the home's host, who had already been paid for the trip. He suggested a compromise.
So they offered us a 1-year credit.
But by December 2020, it was clear many of the attractions in Japan were going to stay closed and quarantine orders were still in place. She again asked the Vrbo host for a refund.
He actually just ghosted me. He didn't respond to any of my emails, and I started contacting Vrbo.
Nielsen forwarded her online chat with Vrbo to the I-Team. A rep for the company writes, "This is super tricky. Not everyone will be happy, but we tried to find the solution that benefited the greatest number of people in this difficult time. In this case, only the host benefited, pocketing more than $1,400. The I-Team reached out to Vrbo. The company confirmed Teresa was offered a credit for a year and a small refund for some service fees and charges, but no more, saying it's important that travelers check the property's cancellation policy and understand that area attraction closures and travel restrictions due to COVID-19 do not override the cancellation policy agreement. Remember, Nielsen was originally set to travel in April of 2020. At that time, the pandemic was in its infancy. Travelers and businesses had no clue of its long-term impact. Out of options with Vrbo, Nielsen appealed to her credit card company, Chase Bank, for a refund.
I called Chase multiple times. I actually filed disputes twice.
Chase told her she had a valid dispute, but because she had waited to possibly redeem her credit, she was outside the window to seek a refund.
It was actually my mother who requested that or suggested that I call you. She sent me your contact information.
It's a good thing she listened to Mom. The I-Team reached out to Chase Bank, who initially told us Nielsen was out of luck. But I raised questions about her having exhausted all options under the time frame she was given, and after some back and forth, Chase emailed this statement. At times, we review situations on a case-by-case basis. Given the number of factors with this very unique scenario, we've made the customer whole.
I did a happy dance. I was jumping for joy. For them, $1,400 is pocket change. To me, that's 2 weeks worth of work.
Teresa says she also got something else, and that is bragging rights over her husband, Brian, who had told her to just forget about the money, that it was a lost cause and she was never going to get a refund. Well, Brian, you're now on the wrong side of your wife and your mother-in-law. And let this be your lesson to always listen to the women in your life. In Chino Hills, I'm Randy Mack for NBC4 News.